A Russian airliner that crashed in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula broke up in mid-air, an official of a Moscow-based aviation agency said on Sunday after visiting the disaster site, but stressed it was too early to draw conclusions from this. Russian authorities also ordered Kogalymavia airline, operator of the Airbus A321 which came down on Saturday killing all 224 people on board, not to fly its jets of the same model until the causes of the crash are known. The jet, which Kogalymavia flew under the brand name Metrojet, was carrying holidaymakers from the Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh to St Petersburg when it crashed into a mountainous area of central Sinai shortly after losing radar contact near cruising altitude. The destruction happened in the air, and fragments were scattered over a large area of around 20 square kilometers, said Viktor Sorochenko, director of the Intergovernmental Aviation Committee. However, he warned against reading anything into this information. It's too early to talk about conclusions, he said on Russian television from Cairo. The Moscow-based committee represents governments of the Commonwealth of Independent States, which groups Russia and other former Soviet republics. Egyptian analysts began examining the contents of the two black box recorders recovered from the airliner, although the process, according to a civil aviation source, could take days. However, Russian Transport Minister Maxim Sokolov told Russia 24 television that this work had not yet started. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said it could take months to establish the truth behind the crash, though his country was cooperating with Russia to aid investigations. This is a complicated matter and requires advanced technologies and broad investigations that could take months, Sisi said in a televised speech on Sunday. The wreckage was found in a desolate area of stony ground. Rescuers had collected the colorful suitcases of the passengers into a pile. A pink child's sandal decorated with white flowers lay among the debris, a reminder that 17 children were among those killed as they headed home from their holidays. Parts of the wreckage were blackened and charred, with one section forming heaps of twisted metal, although the blue Metrojet logo was still visible on its broken tail fin. As the Russian investigators moved slowly across the site, Egyptian military helicopters buzzed overhead, combing the wider area for debris, or bodies, not yet found. Morgue. At least 163 bodies had already been recovered and transported to various hospitals including Sinai Morgue in Cairo, according to a cabinet statement. Airport security sources said Russian experts who arrived on Saturday brought with them refrigerators and DNA samples to help identify and take home the dead. Russian experts had already visited the morgue on Saturday night, and Moscow's ambassador to Cairo said the first 130 bodies were due to leave on Sunday evening bound for St. Petersburg. A source inside the morgue said the bodies had been numbered using bracelets, ready to be received by the Russians, and empty ambulances were arriving to pick them up. Those on board the doomed flight included 214 Russians, at least 3 Ukrainians and 1 Belarusian, most returning from the Red Sea, popular with Russians seeking winter sun. The Russian flag was flying at half-mast over the country's embassy in Cairo on Sunday morning. President Vladimir Putin has declared a day of national mourning in Russia. Russia's transport regulator said in a statement that it had grounded Kogalymavia's Airbus A321s until the reasons for the crash became clear. Russian transport prosecutors have already examined the quality of the fuel used by the airliner and found that it met necessary requirements, Russia's state-run RIA news agency said. The crew had also undergone medical tests recently and no problems were detected, Interfax reported. Experts from Airbus have begun arriving in Egypt to assist in the investigation, the Civil Aviation Ministry said. 3 carriers based in the United Arab Emirates Airlines, Emirates, Air Arabia Air.do and Flydubai, said on Sunday they were rerouting flights to avoid flying over Sinai. 2 of Europe's largest carriers, Lufthansa and Air France-KLM, Airf.pa, have already said they would avoid flying over Peninsula while awaiting an explanation of the cause. Sharif Fathi, chairman of Egypt Air, said the national carrier had taken no such action. I heard some other companies may be doing this, but I don't think it's justified, he said. The A321 is a medium-haul jet in service since 1994, with over 1,100 in operation worldwide and a good safety record. It is a highly automated aircraft relying on computers to help pilots stay within safe flying limits. Airbus said the A321 was built in 1997 and had been operated by Metrojet since 2012. It had flown 56,000 hours in nearly 21,000 flights. The aircraft took off at 5:51 a.m. Cairo time, 1151 EDT, and disappeared from radar screens 23 minutes later, Egypt's Civil Aviation Ministry said in a statement. It was at an altitude of 31,000 feet, 9,400 meters, when it vanished from radar screens. According to Flight Radar 24, an authoritative Sweden-based flight tracking service, the aircraft was descending rapidly at about 6,000 feet, 1,800 meters, per minute when the signal was lost to air traffic control. Graphic showing flight path, altitude, and speed.